Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
NarcoCop and Timmy T hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call NarcoCop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fight, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cashing like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's to be round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. Tim Troiano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Roses Jr squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornholio vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. NarcoCop, Timmy T, Friday nights, a Lambo Plays podcast. Where long shots live large and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Lambo Plays Podcast, episode 156, UFC Vegas 112. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. Timothy, last card of the year for the UFC, last card on ESPN, good riddance. But, you know, I would say it's a decent fight night card here for the last card, a good main event, an actually really good main event. I think that main event alone could be a pay-per-view type of main event. But yeah, it's a good card overall. A lot of newcomers on this card, so a lot of people that have not heard of some of these fighters. But yeah, man, I'm pumped up for this last show of the year. We've had a great 2025 altogether. It's been real fun. And I appreciate all the support as well, man. I have to call out all my supporters. Really appreciate everybody. Without them, this channel does not exist. So thank you to everybody. By the way, one more thing I have to add before I give the mic to you, Tim. I am also streaming now on Rumble as well. So it's Rumble, it's YouTube, it's Twitter. So it's all three right now. So if you go over to Rumble, NarcoCop MMA, I am also streaming live on Rumble. So trying to get another platform, you know, getting a couple of platforms here and just trying to expand a little. So Tim, UFC Vegas 112, we need to go out on a bang. We have to go out on a bang. We need to feed the people some big ones here so they can stock up with the Christmas gifts and buy their loved ones whatever they want. So yeah, how are you doing? UFC Vegas 112. I think, guys, for everyone that complained, I think Tim has fixed his mic issues. He's good to go. He's ready to give some big plays. His Nirvana shirt is on. His Nirvana hat is on. No Pittsburgh Steelers. I think you should remove that hat for now in the Steelers country because it's not been going really, really well. But yeah, we'll talk about that as well. So yeah, Tim, UFC Vegas 112. How are you feeling here on this card?
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this card. I think it's go out with the bang, like you said, and get the people some money to afford the debt that the credit card debt that they're in because of buying their kids all their shit. And I think we got to do it for the people as usual. We're gonna have 6 weeks off, so we gotta put some money on this these Dana White Contender Series-esque fights. I think we got a few of them here, let's get it for the people, man. I'm excited. Let's chop it up.
And then you see, I got my friend back there, Narco Santa right there. Do you see Narco Santa back there? He's like watching me. He's like, you better be on your best behavior. So let me go over to the chat. Shout out my chat really quick here. Sharp Boy, what a year this was. Bulgarian being naughty. Revs forgetting to do their job. And boxing coming in supreme. All the best to you two in 2026. And happy holidays. And happy holidays to you as well. Azure. Let's effing go. Last card and breakdown of the year. Thank you, NarcoCop and Tim, for a stellar year of content. Appreciate both of you so much. We appreciate you as well for always supporting. Buster J, we need a good one this weekend, boys. Mama wants expensive presents. You see what I'm saying, Tim? Mama wants expensive presents, bro. Buster J, we got to come through for you here. Haymaker, what's up, my friend? Let's effing go. Mushroom, what's up, Narco and Tim? 21 hours, 54 minutes. And 21.3382 seconds until violence. Yes, you need to go 5 decimal points to the right next time. So this is 4. Next week it's 5. Or next year it's going to be 5, I should say. Michael, catching me in a VIP with Bulgarian and Lucas Almeida. What's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Dixon, oh my God, Narco and Tim. I'm having panic attacks right now because we're not going to have MMA for the next 6 weeks. And I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I bought a case of lotion before I realized we had a break. Well, listen, it's 6 weeks of no UFC. I wouldn't say 6 weeks of no MMA. There's definitely going to be MMA. There's definitely going to be some good boxing. There's Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua next week. So we got that going on. And we got a couple other things in the next 6 weeks. So it's going to be good regardless. It's also good, honestly, around the holiday times. Take a break, enjoy some time with your family. That's always a good thing, especially around this time this time. DO7 says last card of the year. Let's kill it. Thank you, Mark on Tim, for another good year. Looking forward to 2026. AJ says, evening, fellows. Let's have a good last card of the year. Yes, sir. Let's have them go. Says, hey, Swaz. Glenn says, what's up, gentlemen? What's up, my friend? Double flush. I didn't get my wife a Christmas gift yet. Waiting to hit a Lambo before I decide to forget. Thank you as well. City Boy, what's up, my friend? Thank you for reposting the stream on X. Anybody else that's watching on there, please repost, share, like. It's 176 live viewers now. Let's get it to 500 on this. Felipe, shout out to Narco and Tim. Always look forward to your show. Tim, can you mute your mic, please? What's up? What's up? Dirty leads. I did awful last weekend. Every bet seemed to just miss. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the gambling game. You're not going to always win. Sometimes it's going to go wrong. And last week happened to be a bad week for you. It was a pretty bad week for me as well. So Vinny Diaz says, any lotion fights this week, Tim? He might have one. Yeah. 710 Samurai says, what's up, my ninjas? What's up, my friend? Timothy Johnson, what's up? Jewish better smoking a fat bowl, watching NarcoCop. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. Benino, Pantoja, and over 2.5 in the Tyra fight. F my life. Yeah, that was rough. William Robbins here reporting on the plastic cutlery boat. Not good, boys. Very poor structural integrity. William Robbins loves his plastic, guys. This guy, he lives in a plastic house. He lives on a plastic boat, or he has a plastic boat. And I think he has a plastic car as well. I'm not sure, but I'm under the impression that he does. Joseph Curry, time to end 2025 on a high note. Boricua says, Narco and Tim, the GOATs. Appreciate you, my man. Eric Will, favorite Nirvana song, Tim. Mine is Lithium. Jonathan says, let's go. MMA hedge funds. Yo, what's up, homies? What's up, my man? Jason, let's go. NarcoCop and Tim, appreciate you as well. Bunk Hoots, let hit some bets. Joseph, Nirvana Tim is a GOAT on par with C-level Cain Velasquez. Playing for real. Thank you, Tim and Mike. Appreciate you, my man. Scent War says lock. Jillian by sub and decision, parlayed with Caesar Cesari to end in KO. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about lock. I don't think I've ever said lock for any MMA bets. IFC says, Narco, your head is looking shiny. If we rub it, the parlay cashes. All right, let me rub it. Nicholas, Mike is still effed. Yeah, I had him muted. It's all good. Elijah Juan just got home in time for the Lambos. What else we have here? Michael says Chikoli just showed up in a VIP in a main code. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He bet Malik by sub, and he just and he went to win afterwards to play some poker at the poker room there. Anyways, let's start out here. We got our little templates back. First fight of the night, and it is in the flyweight division. It is the women's division. It is the 24-year-old Teresa Bleda versus the 35-year-old Jamie Lynn Horth. Bleda, 5'9", 71-inch reach with a 7-1 record versus the 5'7", 66-inch reach and an 8-2 record on Jamie Lynn Horth. Tim, I'm not sure if you've taken it out for this one, the lotion, but here it is, first fight of the night, and it's a women's fight, and you happen to be the one giving the first play here.
Yeah, this is definitely not a lotion fight. I would call this a sandpaper fight. Nothing will be touched in this one at all. You got Teresa Bleda, who's a handsome devil. She's coming off a long layoff, and I feel like it's there's some question marks still with her game. I think her striking is not good at all. I think the striking edge here is to Horth pretty big. I feel like the Bleda, getting takedowns is pretty much a must for her in this fight. I feel like she's the more physical fighter. I think that the gas tank, I would lean cardio with Horth. So for me, I feel like this fight is kind of like early Bleda, late Horth. And, I would give out two potential, potential Lambo plays in this one. I think Bleda by submission at plus 500 isn't terrible. And I think Horth round 3 plus 3,300 isn't bad as well. I feel like if Bleda tires out and doesn't get her game going and is stuck on the feet and can't get takedowns, I think Horth could piece her up on the feet. And I feel like if at any moment, if Bleda gets Horth down, I feel like she's got an aggressive top game to potentially sub her. I would lean sub over KO for Bleda here from a ground and pound. I think that the ground and pound, I think Horth has shown good durability. I think that she's more likely, if she's to get finished, I think it's more likely a sub. So how about you?
So what's your play? Sorry.
Bleda submission is plus 500, and then Horth round 3 is plus 3,300.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually going on the Horth side here. And here's kind of my reasoning. Teresa Bleda, yeah, she's big. She's pretty physical, when it comes to takedowns and top time. She's pretty good there on top. But we have to look at some things here with Teresa Bleda. And, the first thing that sticks out is the 2.5-year layoff, right? Bleda has been out for 2.5 years since her last fight, and she's young. Listen, she's 24 years old. But she needs all the ring time she can get at this point. When you're young, you want to get ring time in, So in my opinion, just that 2.5-year layoff and being this young, she's going to come back to a lot of ring rust, in my opinion. The other thing is, if you look at Bleda and what happened to her and why she took 2.5 years out, it's a little bit concerning. She had a fight with Fernandez, she hurts her finger or something happens with her finger. She goes a couple of weeks later or whatever, a month later, she gets staph. They give her a bunch of antibiotics for months. The staph doesn't go away. It stays in her finger. And then they have to do emergency surgery on her finger because she said that if she didn't do the surgery, she was going to lose her finger, the doctor said. So she ends up doing this emergency surgery. She removes whatever staph is there. And then she comes back to training like a couple of months later, a month or two later, right? She trains, and then, she pulls out of a fight against Jamie Lynn Horth in June. And the reason why she pulled out is because she got staph again, but in her knee this time. She got it in her knee. And the doctors told her that it was a reoccurring staph from the previous one, like from her finger one. It never kind of went away in her body somehow. And it lingered, whatever, and it went to her knee. And so this is 2 fights in a row. Casey O'Neill, she pulled out because of the staph in her finger. And then again against Jamie Lynn Horth, like 6 months ago, because of the staph in her knee. So clearly this girl had a lot of medical issues with the staph. She's been out for long. Like I said, 2.5-year layoff is a long time for a young girl at 24. So my thing is, Jamie Lynn Horth has been very active. She's been fighting. And the thing I like about Jamie Lynn Horth is when Teresa Bleda is going to go for takedowns here along the cage, she's going to make her pay. She's going to elbow her. She's going to knee her. She's got good cardio. The thing with Bleda is, the other thing is, being this off for this long, having all these complications, and her cardio is already very suspect to begin with, is bad. Bad in my opinion. It's very bad. So now you're going up against a girl that has very good cardio in Horth. She'll bring up a high pace to a fight. She has a good get-up game, in my opinion, even when she's taken down. She gets up almost immediately. I like Horth 2-3 here. 2,400 on round 2, 3,300 on round 3 on FanDuel. I honestly think that Horth can cook her down the stretch here, man. I really do, because all these things combined with Teresa Bleda already having this cardio issue to begin with, it's not going to bode well for her if, somehow this staph or all these antibiotics she's been taking and stuff like that really affects her in this fight, So I really think that that Jamie Lynn Horth here should be the side, even on the money line side. I know a lot of people are betting Bleda here at -180. She's up to -180, and Horth is +155. But there's nothing to suggest that Bleda should be this big of a favorite. I know she's physical and strong, but man, this girl's been out for a long time. Ring rust definitely exists, man. It exists. So if you don't think it does, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I mean, listen, I know Joseph saying nothing impressed me about Horth. Well, how about forget about that fight? How about Miranda Maverick? I think Miranda Maverick is a better wrestler than Teresa Bleda, and Maverick really couldn't hold her down. I mean, she took her down 2 out of 10 times or something, and she couldn't hold her down. So, and the Maverick has better cardio than Bleda. So I don't know, man. I'm not looking at the Vanessa. Vanessa fight means nothing to me because Vanessa's a 115 pounder. She's not a 25er. So that fight means absolutely nothing. But the Miranda Maverick fight means a lot to me. And I think Maverick's wrestling is better than Bleda's. So, I mean, yeah, Meatball, she is short. But what does short have to do with wrestling? It's nothing to do with it. I'm not talking about the striking. I'm talking about the wrestling. If she's short, she can get to the legs even easier. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, that's how I feel. I do like Jamie Lynn Horth here. And let's move on to fight number 2. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 27-year-old Alan Frye versus the 31-year-old Guilherme Pat. Frye comes in at 6-5, 80-inch reach. He is 6-0, undefeated young striker, going up against the 31-year-old 6'6", 81-inch reach, and the 5-0 Guillermo Pat with a karate background. I will take this one, Tim. Current price -175 on Pat, and the comeback is 150 on Frye. Pat Pat has honestly not impressed me at all, man. I'm watching this guy's tape, and it's comical. It is absolutely comical. I mean, we're gonna start with the Luis Oliveira fight. Luis Oliveira is 4-8. He's been finishing all of his fights. He's a complete tomato can. And he was literally walking Pat down for 2.5 rounds or 1.5 rounds until he ate like an elbow on the top of his head and he quit. It was such a weird. He like looked at the refs like, I'm bleeding from the top of my head, and they stopped the fight. Then he fights this Leonardo Moreira, who this is the biggest red flag of all. And let me tell you guys why. Leonardo Moreira fought Guillermo Pat on August 26th of 2023 at the heavyweight division. If you look at that fight, Moreira looks like he's a 170 pounder in the ring there. Super small. The reason why I say that is because his very next fight, which was flagged for illegitimate, whatever, they flagged it on Topology, and he lost by KO1. He fought at middleweight. Okay. So this guy, 4 months later, fought at middleweight. This guy's not a heavyweight, right? Somehow he drags Guillermo Pat to a decision, and he drops Guillermo Pat. I believe it was in round 2. He dropped him with a right hand. And then I look at his last fight against this roided up Chiores guy who he has zero skill, but he's on like all those steroids imaginable. And he's literally walking. I mean, Pat is landing on this guy, but the guy's just like walking him down. He hurts Pat at one point with a big overhand. And Pat is absolutely exhausted in that fight. Like very, very tired. The issue is Carose was more tired than he was. So it's Juicehead Carose versus Guillermo Pat. Both of them are death gassed, and eventually Carose finishes him. Now, the thing with Alan Frye is he's very green. He started MMA like 6 years ago. He's been in day one with he's over there with Brunson. So he's getting good looks there with Brunson in his gym. He's been there in day one. He's a former college basketball player in North Carolina Wesleyan, all conference. Apparently is a good player. So when you look at him in the ring, you could see his athleticism. Like he's moving well. He's got good footwork. His hands are actually pretty good. He's got pretty good combos, pretty fast hands for a heavyweight. And he's nimble, man. He's pretty nimble for a heavyweight. And that, I'm assuming that comes from his college basketball background. But he also mentioned in an interview that he used to do boxing prior to college basketball. So apparently he has some boxing. You could see it. He's got pretty decent hands. I do think Guillermo Pat is the better overall striker, but super low volume, man. Very, very low volume guy. And for a huge guy, I don't know how much power this guy has, to be honest. I don't think his power is that good. But his cardio is awful, man. For such low volume guy, I don't know how he gasses so bad in these fights, getting walked down by absolute cans. And I won't say that Allen's like beat some great guys. He hasn't. But I feel like he's disposed of the guys that he's faced way better than the cans that Pat has faced. So I'm going to take a poke here again at 2-3, man. I think Frye has better cardio. I think Pat slows down big time in his fights. I want Frye to drag this guy. And Frye has shown, by the way, very, very good cardio from what I've seen. I'm taking Frye round 2, round 3 here, 900 and 1,800. I think he's going to put Pat in the spinner, man. I think he's going to put him in the spinner, put some hands on him, back him up, and hopefully eventually finish him in round 2 and 3. What do you got here, Tim?
Yeah, I have that GIF in my mind when I look at this fight where the like Indian guy goes up to the mic on Jeopardy and goes, "Pass," and then he just smiles on it. This fight just screams pass to me. Like, don't put money on this fight. But yeah, I think both these guys have been killing cans, like you said, and I really don't. I just don't think that there's a lot to like predict off of what these guys are doing in these fights. I agree. I think that the cardio edge is for Frye. I don't necessarily agree on the speed advantage for him. I think that Pat is a little bit faster, but again, I can't really tell because of who these guys are fucking fighting, to be honest. I think that Pat, like you said, he doesn't seem to like really have huge hitting power, like, one strike power for heavyweight. I think the power advantage and the knockout, like one shot hitter quitter is for Frye as well here. But like you said, I mean, like Pat's been hurt in a lot of these fights, but he wasn't finished. Like he did fight through them, and he did fight through the, being exhausted. So I kind of think that this is like a potential, like, sneaky debut for both these guys. Maybe they cardio dump and adrenaline dump a little bit, both of them. And I'm going to take a sneaky shots at the GTD at plus 400 and split it plus 1400. Just, if this fight goes, I think that, Pat's probably trying to avoid the fight. Allen's trying to make it more of a brawl. And I just think it's like, I think it could be just a greasy slobber knocker of a heavyweight fight you watched a couple weeks ago, we had that Polish guy versus, what was it? The wrestler that didn't wrestle. I can't remember their names, and everybody was betting the under was insane. It was another plus 400 that hit. So I'm going to take a small stab at the GTD plus 400, ends by split plus 1400 here.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. You got two young guys. It could get dragged deep. Who knows? The other thing is, like, I always say this: your first UFC fight, and which is for both guys. These, you could adrenaline dump. You could get a lot tired than normal. It happens a lot. It happens a lot to these UFC newcomers. So, definitely could happen. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 25-year-old Luana Santos versus the 34-year-old Melissa Croden. Santos, 5'6", 67-inch reach, 9-2 record, with a judo and jiu-jitsu background against the 34-year-old Melissa Croden. She is 5'9", 68-inch reach. She is 7-2. And with a Muay Thai background. Tim, this one's yours.
Yes, this is the first Lotion fight of the card. Yeah, man, Luana Santos, I think she's really a small for this weight class. Should be probably fighting at 125. She's had problems making weight there, had some health issues. Croden, we cashed on in her last fight versus Lisboa. Actually cashed on both of these girls versus Lisboa. Had Santos by sub. Had Croden round 2, round 3. I kind of think, like, in this fight, I think it's kind of similar to the Horth Bleda fight for me, like early Santos, late Croden here. Croden in the first round versus Lisboa was like being held up against the cage. And like, I was concerned about like the physicality. I thought that she had a physicality edge in that fight. And I thought that she would be doing like much better in the clinch with, being a Muay Thai fighter and like being able to, have the physicality and the size edge versus Lisboa. But like round 1 was like super sketchy for her in that fight. Like she was not doing well on the cage. She wasn't able to separate that well. I thought that was a bad sign for, like, at least initially. And then in the second round, when she started hurting her and Lisboa started to tire, she completely started to cook her in those positions. And I kind of think like it's similar fight here, not from a stylistic, like, I don't think Santos is as good of a striker as Lisboa is. And I don't think that she's as physically weak as Lisboa is in cage, in clinch situations either, though. So I think it's a good matchup early. It'd be interesting to see how the first, like, clinches and judo attempts and how they go and who's physically stronger. Might be a good spot live once we see if Croden's easily dealing with that to, like, take stabs at her. I think striking, Croden has definitely more process in her strikes. She seems a little defensively void at times, but she definitely has more variety in her strikes. I think Santos is wild, especially with her hands, and kind of like also defensively void. I like I like kind of the same ways that I went with the Horth and Bleda fight for this one. I like Santos by sub. If I was going to play anything on her, I would play the submission prop. It's plus 500 as well. And I just think if she does get on top, I think she's got a good aggressive submission game. I think she's physically strong on top. But I also don't hate the, like the round 2, round 3 for Croden. I think like if Santos is shown that she's gotten tired later in fights, and I don't like her striking in this fight at all. And I don't think like if she's not going to get like, if it's really hard in the clinch and she's not getting what she wants to get accomplished, that's where I think Croden can hurt her. Also, if she ends up on bottom, I think Croden's got some pretty nasty ground and pound, as we saw in the last fight, also in some of her regional tape. So yeah, I think late Croden, I think submission prop, probably early for Santos again. It's kind of similar to the Horth Bleda fight. I think they're very similar fights.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those fights where I just think Luana Santos is undersized for the division, and she's facing a very big girl in Melissa Croden at bantamweight, 5'9", very, very, muscular girl, pretty good in the clinch. She's pretty strong. I disagree with you with round 1. I thought she won round 1 against what's her name last fight, Lisboa. In the very, very beginning, maybe she got held for a little bit, but then she did well. She circled. Then I even think she might have hurt towards the end of round 1. She might have hurt Lisboa in that round. But either way, I think Melissa Croden is a type of fighter that's going to build in fights. She has very, very good, excellent cardio. She's been 5 rounds before. Is she hittable? Yes, she's very hittable on the feet, which, a little bit of concern, but not against Luana Santos, because I don't think Luana Santos is that, like, I would say Lisboa is a much, much better striker than a girl like Luana Santos, right? Luana Santos is a judo girl that wants to get the fight to the ground and use her jiu-jitsu, right? She's very good, because she has the judo throws and she has that head and arm throw. She's extremely good from side control. She goes for that katagame or whatever they call it, that Americana from side. She traps the arm, and she does really well with that, when she gets girls there. And, maybe that's a place where Croden could get in trouble potentially with a head and arm throw. But I've also seen a lot of flaws in Luana Santos's, judo and jiu-jitsu. And that's because she goes for this stupid throw over and over. And it's the same freaking throw, head and arm, that's all she knows. And a lot of times she's gotten her back taken because she's done that, and girls are able to basically not get thrown down. She goes very hard. She slips off the head, and now girls have her back, right? So she almost got cooked by Casey O'Neill there in that fight. She almost got cooked again by Stephanie Egger there towards the end. Egger had her back against the fence. Basically what I'm saying is when girls know how to grapple, she kind of has a hard time. Casey O'Neill knows how to grapple. She had a hard time. Stephanie Egger fight, she won it, but I thought it was a lot closer than what they said. It was unanimous. I thought it was more of a split decision. And then you look at the Jenna Bishop fight, she lost another close split where, she dropped Bishop in that fight. But my thing is Melissa Croden is strong, man. Like, what happens when Santos is tired? Because she gets tired in every fight. What happens when Melissa Croden gets on top of her? What happens then? She's got nasty ground and pound. She's mean on top. She's big. And I think she can show Santos the door, to be honest. Santos, Casey O'Neill didn't really push very hard there, in that fight. And she still won convincingly. I like Melissa Croden here. Again, the late rounds, man. When I see a gap of cardio here, which I do see a gap in cardio, and one girl absolutely goes for it, and Melissa Croden. Look at Melissa Croden, for instance. Look at how many round 2 and round 3 finishes this girl has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of her 9 fights in the pros are in 2 and 3. Amateurs, 1, 2, 3 out of her 5 fights are in round 3 finishes. This girl cooks. She cooks later in fights. That's just basically what happens. And round 2 is 1,300 and round 3 is 1,900. Let me cook. Let me cook again, because I do think if Santos has trouble, I'm telling you now, if she is not getting this fight to the mat and having top time, I'm almost certain she's going to get cooked in this fight on the feet. If it's just 15 minutes of on the feet, Melissa Croden's going to cook her, and she's going to finish her, whether it be round 2 or round 3. I think she's going to finish her. So she needs to get takedowns, and I think she needs to get on top and stay on top. And also, it's a smaller cage, closing the distance. Santos can't circle as much as she wants. Yeah, you could say that the smaller the cage, maybe she could get takedowns easier, but her takedowns, I don't think are about space. She wants to just get those judo throws against the fence if she can. So, yeah, I mean, I like Melissa Croden here. I'm kind of surprised that Santos is minus 135 favorite. I don't think she should be the favorite here, honestly. She has more UFC experience, yes, but their experience as a whole is about the same. Obviously, 9 years younger, but 34 is still in your prime, man. And this girl hasn't fought a lot. It's not like she's had a lot of miles. It's 7-2. It's still bantamweight, and one girl's probably not even fighting in her weight class in Luana Santos. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take Melissa Croden here and those late round bets. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've looked at those. They're huge numbers on Croden, man. They're huge numbers. They're plus 6,000, plus 4,500. I'm all for those. I'm going to tell you, if you want to sprinkle
because
those,
yeah, for sure, because she definitely can get her back if she's doing those types of takedowns.
Giving it up. I'm telling you.
If she pulls guard or does anything just to get it on the ground, and then she starts getting smashed, that's she could easily turn her back and just give up her neck at that point.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see it as a process like arm triangle or shit like that. I just feel like she starts beating her up and then just takes her neck. Yeah.
423 live viewers. Appreciate all of you. Also, don't forget Rumble. I'm on Rumble now. So NarcoCop MMA on Rumble. I got 4 viewers on there. I'm pretty impressed for the first show on Rumble. Let's see what Joseph is saying. My only concern here is that Lisboa was able to get Croden down, especially prior to gassing. Yeah, Croden can get taken down. I just think her get-up game is very good, and she's competent with jiu-jitsu. I want to say she's a brown belt, so she's not completely lost on the ground, Yeah, Lisboa did get her down early, I remember, but I think she popped right back up. So it's the thing is she's pretty good with her get-up game. The only fight I really saw her in a vulnerable position was against Martins. She got a standing back body triangle. But I don't see Luana Santos doing those type of things. She's not that type of a jiu-jitsu player. She wants to get you down and get on top of you. So, yeah, let's move on. We're moving on. 4th fight of the night is in heavyweight division. It is the 32-year-old Sean Sharaf versus the 27-year-old Steven Asplund. Sharaf comes in 6'3", 77-inch reach, 4-1 record against the 6'5", 78-inch reach, 6-1 Steven Asplund. I will kick this one off. So again, 2 new. Sean Sharaf did fight once in the UFC, the short notice against the Tafa brother, and here's the thing with Sean Sharaf, right? I'm thinking in my head when I watched that fight, I'm like, this guy, short notice, he kind of just went balls to the wall, right? Tries to finish Tafa early, doesn't get it done. He gasses out. Understandable, right? He had a game plan, right? Come in, short notice, just go for it. If you don't get it, so be it, right? And he tried, and he almost got it at the end of round 1, right? He had ground and pound, tried to get a choke in, whatever. It was a little too late, right? Comes out in round 2 and is pretty damn gassed. I mean, he was gassed pretty bad. He has a good chin. He took a lot of good shots from Tafa and never went down. I feel like he went down more because of exhaustion more than anything. You know, he just couldn't defend himself. But the issue I have with Sharaf, I thought, like, visually when I saw that fight, I'm like, okay, this was his game plan. But bro, this isn't his game plan in every fucking fight. Go in, swing hammers like a madman, try to get your guy out of there. And he's gotten all of his guys out of there prior to Tafa in round 1. You know, he just goes in there and just chucks big bombs. You know, he's throwing hard. He actually has decent hands, man. He's going body, head. I don't mind his boxing at all. I think it's actually better than Asplund's, his boxing. His hands look better. They're faster. His combos are better. He's got more power, in my opinion, from one punch aspect. But he's got zero gas tank, bro, when you do that. You cannot do that in every fucking fight. And he does that in every single fight. And the problem in this fight, Tim, is that one guy has good durability, good cardio, and if you don't finish him early, you are in big trouble later, because he's going to keep coming and he's going to kick you to he's going to teep you to your body. He's going to throw a million punches. He's going to walk you down. He's going to talk shit to you while he's doing that. And he's just going to get in your head and basically break you, you know, which he's done with a lot of guys outside of his loss. So I don't know how Sean Sharaf is going to approach this fight. I have not seen anything to say that he's not going to come in and just swing hammers like usual. And listen, I've seen Asplund hurt. He could get hurt. Sharaf could potentially maybe hurt him and finish him. But I think all of his equities are round 1. I think that's all he has, you know. But it's just one of those where I know Asplund very well. He's very tough. He's very durable. And yes, Sharaf grappled a little against Tafa when he was dead tired, but I don't, that's not his game. He just doesn't grapple. He's a striker, man. And I think he's going to get tired trying to kill Asplund, and then Asplund's going to come back and kill him, in my opinion. So again, this is 4 fights in a row. I like round 2 and 3 again. Round 2 is not great. It's plus 480. Round 3 is 1,300. Listen, the thing with Asplund too is I don't think he hits that hard. He's more volume. He's more touching you. He's more about just breaking you with volume and pressure and pace, right? So I do see him breaking, honestly, Sharaf. Like, the other thing I have to say with this fight, which is, I don't know, I guess it's kind of important. Sharaf came in very late replacement last fight at 252. And honestly, I thought he was going to come in better shape, looking a little better. He looks like the same shit on a full camp. He's 251. He literally looks the same. I thought for sure he's going to look a little bit better, a little bit, because in some of his fights, he actually looked like he had more muscle, looked more defined, like he did more cardio. No, he looked like the same shit on the scales. So he went from 251 against Tafa. I'm sorry, 252 in Tafa to 251 for this. So he lost 1 pound, Tim. He might have ran like half a mile, possibly the entire camp. So he lost a half pound. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting him to come in better shape, honestly. From what I've seen from his previous fights and in the shape that he was, I didn't like that he came into the same bullshit shape that he came in on the late replacement. So, I mean, everybody hates this guy Asplund. I don't think he's great, but he's got good attributes, man. He's got good cardio for heavyweight. He moves pretty well for a heavyweight, and he can take a licking. So, yeah, I'm going here 2-3 again. Sharaf is live to KO him. Like I said, if you're going to play him, probably round 1. Tim?
Pass. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is another one of these fights where it's glorified Dana White Contender Series fights for me. Sean Sharaf seems to be like a guy that, like, in the pictures that I saw of the dude in when he's in the Marines, he looks like he's like 185 pounds, like he could fight at middleweight, and then now he's just a blob at 251. It's just like you said, too many Culver's double burgers here and butter burgers for this guy. Like you said, I wanted to get to like, oh, this guy can he not fight like an idiot? But every single minute of every fight that I saw him fight, he just goes balls to the wall. So I don't know that he has it in him. I think sometimes you can get like an overcorrection kind of fight where this would be the one where he tries to fight, safer, but some of these guys just don't know how to do that. And I just think the general process of Asplund is just better in general. I just think that has more process to his striking. I think that the weakness in his game is guys that can grapple him and guys that can get him down on the ground. And I think he's also like defensively, like he's into getting into fights. Like he's not afraid to go into wars, and he trusts his durability. So I think he is kind of hittable. So, like you said, people taking a shot on Sharaf round 1 at plus like 600 or KO1 at whatever, plus 750, something like that. It's not terrible. I do think that Asplund like got an early knockout in his last fight, and the guy that he fought was kind of a bum. I'm going to go with round 3 in decision for Asplund. Round 3 is plus 3,200. Points is plus 800. I don't know. I just think if he stays away, I think if Sharaf, can survive 2 rounds, I think we're going to hit both of these props. I don't think that Sharaf has much decision equity. And if Asplund doesn't kill him in the second round, I think that both of us are going to hit our bets.
All right. Fight number 5. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 30-year-old, 8-year-old Neil Magny versus the 32-year-old newcomer Yaroslav Amosov. Magny coming in at 6'3", 80-inch reach, 31-13 record versus the 32-year-old 6 foot, 75-inch reach, 28-1 Yaroslav Amosov. Tim, what do you think about the newcomer and the Magny-verse?
Yeah, I mean, this guy, it's the gift from the Breaking Bad. Like, he can't keep getting away with this. Like, this is just like, what the fuck with Magny, man? This guy's unbelievable. He seems to just be outlasting guys, and then they once he outlasts them, then gets on top, and then they're fucked. I don't think that that's going to happen in this fight. I thought that last fight I had Matthews by sub, and I think I got robbed a little bit on that one. And then obviously Magny comes back and takes him to the Magny-verse. I think with Amosov, I think that this kind of going to be a tough matchup for Neil, because the things that he likes to do is right in the wheelhouse of Amosov. Clinch work, grindy, like strike it at range. I just think all of these areas, I think that Amosov is just a little bit better. Definitely ground game for Amosov. I feel like his top control and his ability to pass to positions, loves anacondas. Just his jiu-jitsu is really solid. Just like you say, well-rounded fighter. Like, he just does everything kind of well. He's not really like a guy that, is going to overwhelm you with like anything that he does. Like, oh dude, wow, this guy's just amazing in any of these areas, but he's just really, really solid, like 7.5, like 8 in a lot of the areas that you would want a fighter to have. So I'm going to go Amosov by sub plus 195. I think it could be a decision too, and it's plus 190. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of looking at the last fight in the position early at the end of round 1 with Matthews versus Magny, and other fighters versus him, that he can be subbed. I mean, if you're aggressive on the ground, it's just a question of how aggressive Amosov is. Honestly, if he's just looking to top time him, then it could be an easy decision. And if he looks to be aggressive with his jiu-jitsu, then the sub is going to be very live at plus 195. So I'll take a shot at the sub. I think in my mind, it's a 50-50 outcome on sub or decision for him. And I think they're both okay lines. So plus 195 isn't terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the newcomer, 28-1, shiny record, man. I mean, one of the best records in MMA right now. 28-1 is impressive. He's still only 32, so technically still in his prime. He did not look good. I will say a couple years back against Jason Jackson, he didn't look good in that fight at all. Like I don't know what was going on, but yeah, he didn't look great in that fight. Subsequently, 2 years later, he came back and fought Curtis Melander, who was previously in the UFC, subbed him. But again, in that fight, he didn't look like he was in shape. It was a 183-pound catchweight fight, so definitely not in his weight class. But also, this guy's fighting in that Ukraine-Russia war, man. He's been out there a lot. There's a video of him. I don't know if you've seen that video of him. He goes into like a hole or something. He goes like into a house with has like a built-in underground like hole, and he goes and takes out his like a bag, and he pulls the bag off, and it's his Bellator belt that's in there. It's hilarious. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's pretty funny. But yeah, he's been out there in the war, and I know he's been training lately for sure. You could see in his body he's in very good shape at the weigh-ins. He's been at Killcliff, I believe, or is it ATT? I forgot one of them. He's over there in Florida somewhere. And he's looked good. He looks like he's in great shape. He's in his prime, 32 years old. It's the physical peak, your men, everything, everything. This is the peak age for him. So if he's ever going to try to make a run at a title, maybe in the UFC, this is the time, right? I think Magny, he cooks a lot of guys. Yes, he gets them later and he cooks them. And, he did that to Matthews. He did that to Zaleski. But when you're facing a guy in his prime, that's, Amosov's good everywhere. He's good on the feet. He's a very good grappler. He's dangerous on top, very good cardio. He's been 5 rounds multiple times. It's not like a Malat. It's not like a Jake Matthews who does break sometimes. I don't think Magny's going to be able to break this type of guy. Like this guy has 5 rounds of cardio in him. So I don't think it's going to affect him. I think takedowns, if he wants them, should come pretty easily, honestly, against Magny, whose takedown defense is not very good. But I could see Magny like surviving, honestly. Yes, its sub is definitely live, but I could see him surviving here. I could see Amosov being a bit rusty too. I know he fought this year against Melander, but it was kind of quick, and it was almost 9 months ago. So I could see him UFC debut kind of taking it a little bit easier, not going crazy, against the guy in Neil Magny he knows Magny can take people to the Magnyverse. Like, does he want to be one of the victims in the Magnyverse? I don't think so. So I think he could. I mean, Amosov to me is better everywhere. He's a better striker. He's a better grappler, better jiu-jitsu. It's just a matter of, we say this a lot with Magny. Guys are better than him, but are they better in the cardio aspect? Do they break unlike him? So I do think Amosov could sub him, but I'm gonna go contrarian a little bit. Go with decision here, plus 200. I don't love this play, to be honest. This is the one fight I couldn't pick between sub and decision, so I'm not really like keen to how he's gonna win. But somebody made a point. I looked at this Anaconda. Oh, that was you putting it. I looked at the Anaconda. It was 10-1. It's just not that good. You don't want to go one type of submission.
It's normally 50-1.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that. And 10-1. That's terrible. That's terrible. You don't want to fuck with that. But anyways, yeah, let's move on to the next fight of the night. It is in the featherweight division. It is the late replacement 23-year-old Isaac Thomson versus the 30-year-old Joe Anderson Brito. Thomson comes in at 5'10", 69-inch reach with a 9-2 record versus the 5'8", 72-inch reach, 17-5-1 Joe Anderson Brito. and I can kick this one off here. Man, I like Thomson a lot as a prospect. He's very young, but he's very, very good, and he's improving. Every time I see him, this guy is improving his game. His striking is extremely good. He's very, very nimble on his feet. Got very good footwork. Good kicking game, good hands, very, very fast. And honestly, the last fight against this Akbarjan Islam Boyev, he was a dog in this fight, a pretty big dog. And man, he impressed me with the takedown defense in that fight, man. Like, this Akbarjan, or whatever his name is, he's pretty damn good everywhere as well. He's got power in his hands. He could grapple, and Thomson gave him a fucking hell of a time. Like, he couldn't take Thomson down. Very, very hard for him to take Thomson down. And on the feet, Thomson kind of like just outlanded him. It was a little bit slicker. It's a little bit faster, better footwork, and he won that fight. And the thing with Thomson is he does have, this Sheehan Santana fight, if anybody goes back and watch it, I think they robbed him in that fight. I don't think he lost that fight, and they gave it to Sheehan Santana, but it is what it is. The Dorian Ramos fight, Dorian Ramos really shouldn't be finishing you. That's slightly a concern. But then when you look at it a little bit more, it's 19-year-old Isaac Thomson. You know what I'm saying? It's like 19-year-old Isaac Thomson in his third pro fight. You got to give him some kind of pass for that. You know what I'm saying? So the guy is steadily improving, getting better. And now he's fighting a guy in Joe Anderson Brito who has a lot of UFC experience. He has a ton of experience in general. And he's an absolute animal. Like, the guy will just come in, throw big shots, take you to the ground, try to choke you, try to pound you out. For the way he fights, Tim, this guy has good cardio, honestly. The way he fucking fights, he throws everything into every punch. He's fucking going crazy with takedowns. I feel like he throws everything into all of his stuff, including takedowns, including ground and pound. And somehow his cardio still looks pretty damn good late, So I was kind of torn on this one as well, to be honest. I was a little torn because being short notice against a guy like Brito, and I know Isaac Thomson cuts a lot of weight. So he's cutting a lot of weight on short notice against a physical specimen like Brito, like I think it's a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much. Like, if he was on a full camp, I would think differently here. But it's a little bit too much here against a guy like Brito, who's going to push a crazy pace. He just does in every fight. It's a smaller cage. So the smaller cage doesn't give Thomson enough room to maneuver, to use his footwork. Brito's going to be able to close the distance with this crazy, style. It's just a matter of, how do I think? What happens here? What does Brito eventually just find a finish somehow? Ground and pound on the feet. Because the other thing with Thomson is he could get hurt on the feet. He does get hurt, and Brito hits super hard. But also, like, on the ground, like, is he going to be able to survive Brito's, like, chokes? Because he's got nasty chokes. If he gets your back, his squeeze is so fucking crazy. I'm under the impression he's going to knock him out, Tim. It could be ground and pound too. It's only 255, so that's the thing with me, is like, I'm not happy with the price. I really am not, because when you look at KO at 255 and you look at his sub at 370, right? It's probably better to play the sub, but I'm under the impression that he's going to knock him out here. I just think he's going to knock him out. I've seen Thomson hurt. He does get hurt. He's a little bit hittable. So I'm going to inch towards Brito KO, but I will say this, Tim. If this fight hits the scorecards, it's going to be super close. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the end split. The end split is plus 550, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. If it hits the scorecards, I don't want to be holding a Brito ticket. He just hasn't been a dude that's won a lot of minutes in fights. Like, he's absolutely a moment winner, and if he's not getting clear like top time, he just hasn't been a dude that historically is going to win you a lot of decisions. So I do agree with that. I went late round props. I went round 2, round 3. I think that Thomson can, like you said, like he might be able to stay at range and not get hurt early. But I think eventually he's going to catch him, and I think it just covers both bases on if he does get the club and sub. It's just basically hoping he doesn't kill him in round 1 for me. I do think he eventually gets a finish. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if it's round 1, but I think that Thomson might be fighting better early and then just start to tire out as the fight goes and as he starts to slow down and starts to take a little bit more damage. I think the calf kicks also for Brito here are like going to be really big and kind of immobilizing him and kind of breaking him, similar to the Jack Shore fight. So yeah, I'm going to take late round props at plus 450, plus 850 for Brito. And like you said, though, like I think that if it hits decision, like if you're the type of person that likes betting the split decisions, I used to love them. Obviously, I have not been playing them nearly that much this year because of just the percentages of how they're just not hitting. I mean, like it just hasn't, and the lines that they've been giving have been horrible. So, but plus 550 isn't terrible for that. I do think if it does go, I think it's kind of close. But give me the late round props for Brito here. Cover both bases on if he does get a sub, club and sub, or if he just bonks him straight up on the feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible that he drowns him later, just because short notice, right? Like Thompson's always in the gym. I will say that he's always in that fucking gym training. So maybe he was getting ready for a late replacement fight. I don't know. He did make weight pretty easily. So I really don't know, but I don't like the short notice aspect not against this guy, not against the guy like Brito. It's just, he's a dangerous dude, and he's very durable too. On top of it, Brito is. So, you gotta have to kill him to fucking get him out of there. All right, let's move on. It is fight number 7. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 38-year-old Amanda Lemos versus the 30-year-old Jillian Robertson. Lemos comes in at 5'4", 65-inch reach, and she's 15-5-1 versus the 5'5", 63-inch reach, and 16-8. Jillian Robertson. Tim, this one's yours. Current line: Jillian Robertson minus 202, and the comeback on Amanda Lemos is plus 172.
Oof, man, this is a tough fight for me to call. I've been literally on the fence in this fucking fight all week. I think I've gone back and forth in this fight 4 to 5 times. Dude, just in general, Jillian has been like, I've just been riding the Robertson train the last bunch of fights. Hit a bunch of monster props on her, and Lemos for me has been pretty good as well. Like historically, this is just really tough for me to call, because I think it's such a binary fight. It's obviously a binary fight. And the question is, the question in my mind where I go is like, is Lemos going to do what she typically does in these fights, where if she just grapples with grapplers, and so like she'll go for guillotines and then end up on bottom. She won't disengage and like just strike, and like I think that she's like overconfident in her grappling ability, and I don't think that she's like a bad grappler, but I just think like she's overconfident in her ability versus like significantly better grapplers than her. And I just think that she's got a very good squeeze. So she goes for, she's caught a bunch of fighters in that. She caught Karate Hottie trying to come in on her. And then you see like other fights where it's like she's engaging, like she could disengage against Verna and get up and then just beat her ass. And then she goes back in the ground with her and gets armbarred. Like she gets standing arm triangled versus Andrade and has like like I just shit my pants look on her face like the second that she gets put in that position and doesn't know what to do. So there's just situations where like I feel like she should be disengaging and she isn't. To me on the feet, like this is just a no-brainer. Jillian still hasn't like, yeah, is she improving her striking? Yes, but it's easy to go from a 1 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 and still be a 3 out of 10. And that's pretty much where she is to me. Jillian's improved her ground and pound in her attacks from while being on top and not just being a jiu-jitsu player on top. I think that's made her game much more dangerous. I think at this weight class, she's a much better wrestler. She's more physical at this weight class. She's been able to get takedowns in every fight at this weight class, even against good wrestlers. So I think the physicality isn't as huge of a gap as I think some people think is in this fight. I think Lemos is physical, but I think that she could get taken down in this fight. I think she could jump Gilly in this fight and be taken down. On the feet, like I said, I think this is just one-way traffic. I think calf kicks could immobilize Jillian if she goes to them. And I just think it's just going obviously back and forth with what's going to happen in this fight. I think if you're on Lemos, I think it's a must play to better by KO at plus 650. Like I just think like there's no doubt in my mind she hits harder than Macy Barber does, and if she connects, she could absolutely destroy her on the feet. If she's stuffing takedowns and disengaging, I just don't see a world where Jillian's able to strike with her for 15 minutes and not get knocked out. And then on Jillian's side, I think it's just the classic, like, would I be surprised if Jillian just top times her and wins 2 out of 3 rounds or all 3 rounds and wins a decision? No, because Lemos has lasted on the ground with fucking Wei Li and survived 25 minutes of getting her ass pounded on the ground for, just ground and pound. I don't think she's going to ground and pound her better than Wei Li did. And I don't think that, it's just like, I just don't think that she's like, and she survived on top versus Dern. The people that she hasn't survived against are, Verna gets her with an arm bar. I just feel like that's the kind of the path. If she's going to get her in a finish, I think it's going to be like a rear naked choke or an arm bar after getting to mount or something like that on the ground. I'm not as convicted on my plays on Jillian. I think it could be 2-3 or a decision. On Lemos, for me, it's for sure KO. So like if I'm breaking it down in half, I would say for sure Lemos KO is like plus 650. He's like, I'm gonna lose money on that. I'll end up going Lemos KO and then like round 2, round 3 for Jillian. I think that those would be the ways that I would play it. I'm not as confident on the Jillian side. As I said, I'm way more confident on the KO prop for Lemos if things go her way in this fight. I think plus 650 is kind of stupid. I was expecting honestly her KO line and her decision line to be flipped. I was expecting like plus 350, plus 380 KO and then plus 650 decision for Lemos. Like I think that those are off. So but I'm interested to hear what you got to say on it, because I think this fight could go a bunch of different ways, and I love both these fighters. So I just interested to hear what you have to say on it.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting fight because we got a typical grappler versus striker type of matchup here, but it's in the strawweight division in women's. And Jillian Robertson has been on a pretty good run here. Outside of losing that fight to Tabitha Ricci, she's on a nice winning streak. 4-fight winning streak. She's looked good at 115. I have to say that as well. I believe she's 7-2 in her career at strawweight, as opposed to 9-6 as a flyweight. We could safely say, I guess, flyweight is not the division for her. Maybe because she's not as physical there. Girls are a bit stronger. She has a tough time with getting the fights down. And if she can't get the fights down, she's usually not winning striking matches, so. But the thing with Lemos is, one, obviously she's 38. Now, here's the thing, though, with me looking at this fight. I really don't think Lemos has looked like a 38-year-old, if that makes sense, at 115. I think she's looked actually pretty good in some of these fights. I know she lost to Suarez, and she got grappled there by Suarez. And Tatiana's a big physical 115 pounder. You know, she's big and physical, and it wasn't easy for her to get the fight to the ground against Amanda Lemos, you know, but the problem is when Lemos was stuffing the takedowns, digging underhooks, you know, she does that really well. And her initial takedown defense is very good. I don't understand why she just loves to re-engage instead of just like circling away. And then you look at these other fights and she does the same shit against Jandiroba. She does the same shit. Even in the Mackenzie Dern fight, she was like going heel hook for heel hook, like grab. Like, I just don't understand. Just separate and strike. You're a good striker. You have a ton of power for this division. Why do you always choose to re-engage in grappling? I don't know. But like looking at all of her fights, I can't get out. Like if you were to tell me she's going to stuff takedowns or she's going to just try to defend takedowns, get her off of her circle, I'd be like, okay, I'm in at 172. Like I'm going to bet her at plus 172. But there's nothing on tape to tell me that she's going to do that. She doesn't do it in any of her fights when there's grappling involved. She just does not do it. And so I do think Jillian probably going to get the fight to the ground because Amanda Lemos is just going to be hell-bent on anti-grappling, right? And grappling back, you know, with her. So, or even pull guillotine, like you said. She loves to go for that guillotine. Doubt she's going to get it on Jillian. You know, she's probably going to give up side control or half guard. And then, you know, Jillian's going to work her top game. She's got a really good top game. That's the one thing about Jillian that I really like is the top game is solid, man. Very, very good, solid top pressure, good advancement to dominant positions, very good ground and pound, is able to hold the position for long. You give up, you know, your back, you're probably screwed. But at the end of the day, when I watch Lemos, honestly, has she been subbed? Sure. I think the one standing was a complete fluke. It's like, whatever. She got just stuck in a position and the squeeze was good. Whatever, Andrade. The other one against Jandiroba, man, like she fought that rear naked choke really, really well. She was fighting the back. She was about to turn. She was going 2-on-1. I don't know if you remember. She was going 2-on-1 to kind of like turn into Jandiroba. And while she was doing that, Jandiroba set her up for that armbar. Really, really good, man. Like, it's just such a high-level grappler like Jandiroba got her. I mean, Jillian's a high-level grappler. Don't get me wrong. I just think that position, it was just like a really... I don't think it was more about Amanda Lemos being bad than how good Jandiroba is on the ground, you know, with her submission skills. Because when you look at Lemos, she survived, you know, a lot of minutes on the ground against Weili, and Weili pounded the shit out of her in that fight, you know. She survived against Mackenzie Dern on the ground for a good amount of period, you know. And man, you know, Mackenzie Dern is just as dangerous as Robertson, if not better with the subs, right? It's just that Jillian probably has a little bit better ground and pound. I think it's going to be Jillian getting takedowns, getting some top time, but I don't think she's going to finish Lemos. I think Lemos is too experienced. She's too good. The other thing with what I looked at, Tim, the level of opposition is like night and day here. It's not even close. But I'm looking at kind of like who is Robertson actually finishing, right? And it's Marina Rodriguez, who's not good on the ground. It's Polyana Viana, who's absolutely toast. It's Piera Rodriguez, which, you know, she's okay. But even in that fight, like, she didn't even tap, apparently, and they stopped it. But it's like these other girls. It's like Maria Agapova, Priscilla Cachoeira. Like, these are the type of girls she's finishing. She's not finishing high-level fighters, which I consider Amanda Lemos a high-level fighter at strawweight. So that's why I'm going to go decision here on Robertson. I think plus 280 is fine for me. It's still a strawweight division. I think this fight, I lean more towards, I know a lot of people have hit this under on this fight. I like over here. I think this fight goes the distance, and it's plus money. Lemos, it's hard, yes. I think it's overstated, or not overstated. I think it's over. I don't even know what the word is, but I don't think Jillian is as weak or gives up as much as people think she does. She's pretty tough for me. I don't think, just because of that fight early on against Macy Barber, like that was fucking 6 years ago at 25. Like I don't think she's a quitter like that. So, yeah, for me, I like fight goes and Jillian to win by decision at plus 280. I don't think it's bad at all. Next fight of the night, it's going to be fight number 8, Tim. It is in the catchweight division at 160 pounds. Late notice replacement here. It's King Bobby Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. King Green comes in at 39 years old, 5'10", 71-inch reach, and he's 32-17-1 versus the newcomer, the 30-year-old, 5'9", 72-inch reach, and a 9-1 record, Lance Gibson Jr. It's just, this fight is fucking weird. Late replacement, Lance Gibson. Apparently, Bobby Green, I listened to an interview, and obviously both these guys came in at 158, by the way. I listened to an interview from Bobby Green, and he's like, yeah, the UFC offered 2 other fighters, but this fight, and they declined it. But he didn't say when they offered this fight. Was it the same time they offered this Lance Gibson, which was 2 days ago? Like, did they try to make this fight literally 2-3 days ago? And I think that's the case, honestly. I think the other people declined because it was such short notice. Lance Gibson's like, yeah, I'll take it. You know, I'm going to get my foot in the UFC. Why not? Right? If you look at Bobby Green's IG, guys, it's hilarious because I don't see the guy training at all. He just, for reference, he just bought a strip club in California. He's promoting this strip club in California. He's getting prepared to do a New Year's Eve party in a strip club in California. So does this guy fucking want money? Is that what it is? He just spent a shitload buying this, and he asked the UFC. My impression in my head, this is how I'm thinking about this. Bobby Green calls up the UFC. All right. And listen, if you guys don't think this is possible, it's 100% possible. Bobby Green calls up the UFC and says, hey, guys, is there any way you can put me on this Vegas card? I want to get on this card. I need the money. Whatever he tells them. I think he could have done that, and they obliged him because you know why? Bobby Green has always come through for them. Anytime they've needed him, he's came through for them. So I think it could be that they've done him a favor and gave him a fight here. You know, he makes a lot of money, guys. I would love to know does anybody know what this guy's pay is at this point? It's got to be like close to 150, 200K, right? He makes a lot of fucking money, show money. So, we'll see here, but talking about the matchup, Bobby Green looks washed to me. I mean, there's nothing on tape that tells me he's not washed. Last fight, he pulls out against Ferreira. I had a bet on Ferreira. He pulls out the day of, says he's got a nasty, nasty injury. He can't even walk. That was 4 months ago, and now 4 months later, he's fighting. So he couldn't walk 4 months ago. The injury obviously has healed. I don't know how much he's trained. And now he's fighting this guy, Lance Gibson, who was a former ASU wrestler. I mean, he has a pretty good wrestling game, not bad. I like his ground and pound. I will say his ground and pound is pretty good. He's kind of athletic. He's built, you know, he looks a bit strong in the clinch and stuff. He's a pretty strong guy. But there's a caveat to all this, Tim. This guy's chin is made of fucking fairy dust. It's terrible. It is bad, man. The chin is not good on this guy. I don't like the chin. And obviously, Bobby Green is not a big hitter, but he's still a good striker. You know, he's got hands down, fast hands. He still could hurt Gibson. I mean, I saw Gibson against Tokov. I mean, he got hurt so bad with a jab. It was incredible. I'm like, he didn't even run into the jab. I'm like, how did you get that hurt with that jab? He was discombobulated with the jab. And then Tokov jumped on him and finished him. So, and then I've seen him in another fight get dropped against a total bum, bad fighter. So his chin is very, very, very suspect. If it wasn't suspect, honestly, Tim, I would probably play him. I would play him at 180 against Bobby Green because I think Bobby Green is absolutely washed. But I'm gonna take my shot here. Because I do think Gibson has a good ground and pound, but I don't think he's that big of a finisher. I don't think his submission game is that good to finish Bobby. I think Gibson by decision, if you're going to play him, it's 7-1. 7-1 on the decision on Lance Gibson. He has pretty good cardio. I will tell you guys, his cardio looks on point. He trains with his dad, who was a former UFC fighter, at their own gym. I think it's called Gibson MMA. And then what's her name? I don't know if she's there's. Is Julia Budd his stepmom or his mom? I'm not sure, but I think it's a stepmom, Julia Budd.
Yeah, unless she had him when she was 13.
Oh, yeah, she's like 40, right? Like, yeah, 10 years old or something. Yeah, so it's his stepmom. But yeah, I mean, Gibson Jr. by decision plus 700 for me. I think just Bobby Green is washed. Could he knock him out? Sure, but I'm going to take my shot on the newcomer.
Yeah, I don't have much to add in this fight. Bobby Green is turbo washed. He got his soul taken from him by Jalen Turner in a fight that should have been stopped like 45 seconds before he took 17 unanswered with his face chest down on the mat. He looked washed even before that fight, but getting your soul taken in that way is kind of like, I just think his chin is kind of dust. I don't think that his grappling is bad. So I don't think it's going to be like super easy for Gibson to just like, rinse and repeat takedowns. I think athletically speaking, like movement wise, I think it's more that Green has been showing that his durability is waning, and then his ability to like be athletic and kind of, dodge punches. That's more what he's lacking to me. And that's more where he looks turbo washed than like grappling sequences and like just takedown defense and things like that. So I'm going to go round 2, round 3 for King, plus 650, plus 1,000. Think he probably does stay away from him early. And as he starts to pick up his reads on him, I think he finishes him later. Wouldn't be surprised if it's round 1, just like you said, because I think the durability on Gibson is pretty bad. I think he's got more of a paper mache chin than a fairy dust chin, but yeah, like it's either one, fairy dust and paper mache. You don't want your chins built out of that quality. So,
all right, next fight of the night. It is in the heavyweight division. It is Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha. Kennedy coming in 33 years old, 6'5", 83-inch reach with a 14-6 record versus the 35-year-old, 6'2", 77-inch reach, 5-2, Marcus Buchecha. Tim, kick us off here. It's Buchecha's back. The 12-time, 13, 15, 17, 25-time world champion in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's just been my passion this year, losing money on grapplers versus strikers. And I just don't see any reason to get off of this. It is my passion. So I gotta go with it. I gotta keep going with it. Again, a binary fight. I think striking is pretty clear cut. Kennedy's going to beat his ass striking. I feel like in the clinch, Kennedy can mess him up in the clinch as well. Feel like Buchecha in his last fight versus Martin Buday is trying to get his back and realize that being able to wrap your legs around a 265-pound dude is not easy to do. I do feel like in this fight that if he gets to similar positions on the ground, I do feel like Kennedy will be easier to get, be able to lock his legs around him because he's not as big as a dude like Boudet is. I do feel like also Boudet is defensively more sound with jiu-jitsu on the ground than Kennedy is. And I mean, we've seen this before. We've also seen Buchecha go for heel hooks, and that heel hook defense by Kennedy in his last fight was comical versus Walter Walker. Basically just didn't know what the fuck to do and instantly shat his pants as soon as he went for his leg. So I'm going to go Buchecha sub 1 plus 550, sub 2 plus 900, heel hook plus 40, 4,000, 40 to 1 on the heel hook. I laughed when I saw it. I'm like, they're probably going to give us a 10 to 1 or a 8 to 1 on heel hook. And they gave us a 40 to 1, seeing that this dude just defended it the way that he did. Buchecha can go for them. I mean, all he's got to do is watch that fight. I'm sure he did. Just be like, wow, I can do that move. That's not that hard to do. And if he gets him on the ground in general, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets him in multiple different submissions, takes his back, gets him armed, like either arm triangle if he just gets the side. But like he can get him many, many different ways. Knee bar. I mean, like, yeah, I don't hate it. Just any type of leg entanglement. It doesn't. I just don't think that Kennedy would know what the fuck to do in this situation versus a high level grappler like this. But again, if you tell me that Buchecha can't get him down on the ground and Kennedy just pieced the living shit out of him in this fight, I'm not surprised, because that's pretty much the way that these matchups have gone. But yeah, I'm just going to continue riding. I love grapplers. As you know, you've been talking with fights with me for a while now, and this is typically the way that I go a lot of times, unless I feel like the grappler has no chance of getting the fight to the ground. Kennedy's been taken down by guys. Buchecha did get a big ass dude and Boudet down last fight early, so I do feel like he can get him down, and I'll take the sub 1, sub 2, and small stab at the heel hook.
Yeah, man. I think Kennedy's overrated, man. I really do. I've been saying this for a while about this guy. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. He's at heavyweight now. I particularly don't think he hits that hard. Honestly, when you look at his KOs historically, they're mostly from just guys exhausting themselves, and then he comes on and finishes them. A lot of them are elbows, knees, I don't think he hits that hard, and now he's fighting at heavyweight, the thing with this fight here is like Buchecha went from a big favorite against his last opponent Boudet to a sizable dog at first here against Kennedy, and people have been hitting him. I don't think Kennedy's takedown defense is all that good, honestly. Like, when you look at his career, like, who has he faced that are good grapplers? Bresky, Barnett, Oven St. Preux, Dustin Jacoby, Devin Clark got him down once, but he's also like a big head case, to Devin Clark. Kutalaba got him down twice, and he gassed, like we know. And it's like any guy that's tried to kind of take him down has taken him down. Even Danilo Marquez, who actually has shit wrestling, took him down twice. Walter Walker, he's not a good wrestler, man. Let's be honest. He's not a good wrestler. He hurt Kennedy on the feet, and then he took him down, and then he dropped down for that heel hook. The difference between all these guys, like, Buchecha is more physical, in my opinion, than these guys. And if he gets you down, it's not going to be easy to get the fuck back up. And I feel like UFC debut against a huge guy like Boudet, he weighs in at 266, guys. But on this guy, he's said it before, he cuts like 20 some pounds to get to heavyweight. This guy walks around at like 290. So that day in the cage, he was probably 290. You know what I'm saying? When he loaded back up, this is a big dude. But the difference between him and like a guy like Kennedy is that he's versed on the ground. He does jiu-jitsu. He knows jiu-jitsu. And he's fucking huge, Tim. Buchecha was trying to get hooks on him, and the hooks wouldn't even go like in between his legs. He couldn't like get him between the guy's legs because he's so wide and big. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, if you saw, Buchecha was like standing over him, kind of like sitting on his back and punching him instead of putting the hooks in, because he's like, I can't put hooks in on this fucking guy. He's too big. Kennedy's not like that. He's slimmer. He's long, but he's going to be able to get hooks in on Kennedy if he gets him down. And I'm honestly surprised. I'm really surprised they're giving a sub at 240. I really am. Kennedy's been sub twice, for anybody that doesn't know. Like, he's been sub twice, and he's facing a high level jiu-jitsu guy. And I think this is going to be, Buchecha said it in his interview. He goes, before I even walked into the cage, I had so much jitters. I was so scared of underperforming. I was going out trying to get a sub 1 to make everybody, happy that I was the great jiu-jitsu guy. And it absolutely gassed me. But listen, even with all the gas problems and rolling around with a 300-pound guy, he still almost won that fight. If he didn't fuck up at the end and lose position and go on bottom, he probably wins 2-1. But he lost position and he lost the fight. So I think sub is really good, honestly, plus 240. I mean, the other thing is, I was discussing this with Sean. I think Buchecha can also knock him out. He swings very hard, and Kennedy's chin is very, very suspect, man. Sometimes it looks great. Sometimes it looks absolutely terrible. He got hurt against Walter Walker last fight. So I think Buchecha swings harder than a guy like Walter Walker. But either way, I like the sub at the end of the day. It's plus 240. You're going to give me this 25-time world champion at plus 240 against Kennedy and Nzechukwu by sub? I mean, I have to play it, right? Like, it's like a no-brainer. I'm hoping it's not going to be ground and pound, Tim. Then I'm going to really, really fucking be mad. But it's definitely possible it's ground and pound. I mean, hopefully it's not for our sake, but all right. Let's move on here. What fight are we up to, Tim? Here, fight number 10. It is in the featherweight division. It is Morgan Charriere versus Mel Gazelle Costa. Charriere coming in at 30 years old. He's a 5'8", 69-inch reach, 21-11-1 versus the 29-year-old, 5'10", 71-inch reach, and a 24-7 Mel Costa. I can kick this one off. Line right now, actually, there was a lot of steam coming in on Mel Costa. Oh, yeah, it's still coming in. Mel Costa up to plus 140. Minus 140. And the comeback is plus 120 for Morgan Charriere. I like Charriere here. I mean, plain and simple. I think he's the more athletic guy. I think he's the better wrestler. I think he's just kind of better everywhere outside of pure jiu-jitsu. I think he's a better scrambler. He's faster. He's got the better hands. I should say jiu-jitsu and the kicking game of Costa maybe is a little bit better. So, but at the end of the day, I still think this fight is fairly close. Both guys are pretty durable. I don't think both guys are easy to finish either. I think this fight probably goes the distance. I could see Morgan kind of landing some takedowns here and there in between and just landing the better strikes, like the better punches. But I also could see Costa landing some decent inside leg kicks, body kicks, stuff like that. Split decision is plus 475 on BetOnline. That's how I'm going here. I'm just going to go split. But I do like, especially at plus 120, I like the Charriere side here. I think Charriere should be the slight favorite.
Yeah, this is a good spot, I think, for Charriere as well. I think his boxing, I do agree that the kicks, like Melk's kicks are really good, but I think that like Charriere is going to have some success with calf kicks as well in this fight. I think he's physically stronger than Costa is. If he wants to take this fight to the ground, I feel like he's got the wrestling advantage as well. Really, to me, the only like the big edge for Costa here seems to be fight IQ. I mean, like Morgan just doesn't. He just loses. He like snatches defeat from the jaws of victory a lot of times in a lot of these fights. Like the last fight, he reversed that trend versus Landwehr, and he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat because he was losing in that fight. But he's typically just like not making good decisions and not putting out volume in situations where he's got guys hurt, not going for the kill. There's multiple fights where I'm watching him and I'm like, dude, like, God, what is he doing? Like, so it's gonna be hard. Obviously, the pick I'm gonna be on it here is gonna be Morgan by decision. I do love the end split at plus 475. I think that's a great line. But Morgan's fought like a ton of split decisions, both winning and losing. It's an insane amount of fights that he's had that have gone to decision that are split decisions. So I'm going to take Morgan points plus 260 and split is plus 900. I think he's the side. I think he's got better boxing. I think he's going to have top time potential here if he wants to get it as well. And I just don't think that just the kicks alone. I don't think that Costa is going to have an easy time getting him down. Definitely not an easy time holding him down. I don't think that the kicks are going to be as graded as well as the hand strikes, especially to the head from Charriere here. So give me Charriere decision plus 260 and split at plus 900.
Yeah. It's going to be a good fight. I think it's both guys are pretty good. So I'm interested to see what happens in that fight. All right. Fight number 11. It is in the middleweight division. It is Cesar Almeida versus Cezary Oleksiejczuk. Cesar Almeida comes in 37 years old, 6'1", 74-inch reach, and a 7-1 record, while Cezary Oleksiejczuk comes in 25 years old, 6'3", 75-inch reach, and a 16-3 record. This one is yours, Tim, in the middleweight division.
I think this is a really good matchup. I think you get a really kind of Oleksiejczuk 2.0 compared to his brother. I like what I saw on the tape with Cezary compared to Mikal. I've liked betting on Mikal in fights, both for and against, because you kind of know his binary nature, that if he gets the fights that he wants striking, he's typically winning, and he can hurt guys multiple different ways. He's shown good durability, but his grappling has always been the whole. Cezary seems to be like a 2.0 version of him. From the ground is not lava for Cezary in this situation, and I feel like he's had fights where he's actually looking to get the fight to the ground in certain fights where Mikal is typically not doing that at all. And I just feel like he's got good striking, very good striking for both of these guys, very high level strikers. Cesar's great kickboxer. Almeida's a great kickboxer. A little bit on the old side. His chin seems to be going a little bit more in the last couple of fights. He's gotten hurt pretty bad. Got dropped by Kopylov, got dropped by Al Hassan. And then Al Hassan, after he hurt him, just comes in like full rabies mode and gets nuked. This fight for me, I just feel like, Oleksiejczuk seems like he's got more paths to winning here, and I feel like he's got a get out of jail free card if he wants to, with the grappling and getting some top time potentially. And being as he's like, it's not like a Buchecha situation where Almeida just knows that, all right, this is the only thing that this guy's going to do. Like, being able to drop a level and go for a takedown for Oleksiejczuk in this situation, it's going to be a surprise tactic more than I'm just going to guarantee go at this. And he has to respect the striking, and he has to respect the hands coming at him more. Almeida does. So I think that the takedowns could be easier for Oleksiejczuk than in like a Buchecha fight, where these guys, but Kopolov's getting him down, same thing, like respecting the striking. Then next thing you know, drops a level, easily gets him down. And then once in the ground, like Almeida just really doesn't have a clue. He's 100% kickboxer. This dude's got really no jiu-jitsu, ground game and get-ups aren't really that good. So I do feel like if the fight does hit the ground, I wouldn't be shocked with an Oleksiejczuk sub, but I also would think like he could just easily top time him as well, like Kopylov did. But if this fight is striking, like 15 minutes of just striking, I think it's super, super close. And I think both guys can easily have success. So I ended up going trifecta bet on this one. Ends by split is plus 750. I think that's fucking wild. I really do. I think both these guys are durable. Yes, can either one of them land a big shot on the other? Yes, but I think they've both shown really good durability. So if the fight goes like end split is plus 750, Oleksiejczuk decision plus 430, Oleksiejczuk by split is 11-1. I'm going to go for that trifecta there and hope it hits. I think that if this fight goes, it could be a close decision, or the decision prop for Oleksiejczuk. If he gets top time, I could easily see him winning a decision here and just top timing him and winning unanimously. But if this is striking for 15 minutes, I think it's much closer, a much closer fight than people are giving, Almeida credit for. The dude's a really good striker. So I think it could be close if it's striking, and give the top time edge and grappling edges to Oleksiejczuk. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of a similar fight to the Kopylov one. Kopylov, southpaw, good striker in and out, has some power. And in that fight, Kopylov drops Caesar in that fight pretty bad. But what surprised me more than anything in that fight is the amount of takedowns Kopylov was able to get. And if anybody's watched Kopylov before, he's not a fucking wrestler. He's not a great grappler at all. And he had a lot of success getting takedowns when he wanted them. And he had 5 of them, dude, against Almeida. Was Almeida, he had a decent amount of control against him. I know the fight was scored a split. I don't think that's accurate, but somehow they gave it a split. And then you go to the Poteria fight, and it's again a similar style to Cesar. He's a southpaw striker, right? Poteria. And Caesar literally in that fight, it was a literal embarrassing fight because the referee was absolutely atrocious in that fight. Almeida poked Poteria more than 3 times, punched him in the nuts, okay? And not a single point was taken, right? And then, to top it off, when Poteria had good positions against the cage, he literally separated him while Poteria's landing shots on him. He separated them. Then Poteria got him back there again, and within 10 seconds, he separated him again. And I'm like, this is a terrible travesty. Like, Poteria got really fucked in that fight. Bad. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to get at is Cesari compared to both of those guys, I think Cesari's a better striker. Maybe not better than Poteria. I think it's close, but he is faster and longer than Poteria. And then, not Poteria, Kopylov. He's longer and faster than Kopylov, man. And honestly, I think he's a better grappler than both those guys. He doesn't show it a lot. He's shown it in some fights, but he has good shots. I love his shots into his wrestling, and he get people down. And Caesar has to respect that. Now, Cesari at Fighting Nerds, I really like that because they're going to game plan, bro. They're not going to they know Cesar Almeida. They know he's a world kickboxing champion. They know he's really good on the feet. Yeah, Cesari's good, but what's the path of least resistance here? Take the guy down, right? Get takedowns, mix in takedown. I'm not saying shoot takedown after takedown because Cesari can definitely compete with him on the feet. And actually, I think he could drop him and maybe even KO him because he hits hard. And the other thing you have to talk about here, the MMA experience is fucking not even close, man. Forget about Cesari being 16-3. This guy has another 30 amateur fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy has way more MMA experience than Almeida does. He's got good cardio. He's been 5 rounds multiple times. I think 3 or 4 times he's been 5 rounds. So cardio is not a concern, unlike the Kopilovs and the Poterias of the world. Those guys have cardio issues. He doesn't. So I like Cesari quite a bit here, man. Striking, it might be close, but The one other thing I want to talk about, how about the speed difference in the striking? It's not close, bro. Cesare is so fast with his 1-2s, and everything is straight down the pipe, man. The 1-2 is straight down the pipe. It doesn't come looping. He comes right down the middle, and that's the exact punch that dropped him against Kopylov, the right down the middle. You know, the fucking idiot Al Hassan dropped him too, but then how does Al Hassan start? He starts throwing wide, loopy-ass hooks. They're all like, he's kind of like rolling them all, and then bang, he counters him. And he goes to sleep, you know? So I like Cesare here quite a bit. I think he's got a big grappling edge if he wants it. I think the fighting nerds is very important for him. I think they're going to game plan really well here. You've seen what they're doing with his brother. You know, his brother looks like he's improving the takedown defense. He's getting away from the takedowns and just striking. And I think that comes in handy here because I think they're going to game plan. They're going to say, hey, listen, you can strike, but mix in those takedowns against Almeida. And I think, you know, Cesare just got his, I want to say he just got his brown belt or black belt. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one or the other. So he's up there, and he knows how to grapple if he wants it. And I saw in his camp, he was grappling a lot on his IG against Caio Bahayo. They were grappling a ton, you know, and Caio Bahayo is a good grappler. So I like Cesare here by sub, Tim. Give me the sub at plus 750. I think that line is off just because, you know, he doesn't show in a lot of subs because he's just killing everybody on the feet. I think he knows probably the game plan here, you know, like maybe strike with Caesar a little bit, but take this guy down and show him, you know, he's not very good on the ground, Caesar, man. Like, yeah, he's done okay against Potieria and Kopylov, but those guys are probably blue belts at best on the ground. You know, they're not very good. So, yeah, I like Cesare here. I like Cesare by sub. And let's move on. Next fight of the night. It is the co-main event of the night, Tim. It is in the featherweight division. It is the Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vallejos. Giga coming in at 37 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach with a 15-5 record versus Kevin Vallejos, 24 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach, and a 16-1 record. There's two bets I like here. Okay. One, I think Vallejos is going to grapple. Honestly, I feel like he's going to mix in the wrestling here. Giga has shown kind of really bad off his back. Honestly, not very good looks off his back, closing guard. You know, not doing great things off his back. And then he's shown also that grappling gasses him out, man, a lot. He gets gassed quite a bit from grappling. We saw in the Onama fight. I think, yeah, Vallejos likes to strike. He loves to throw those hooks. He has a lot of power. I know Giga's never been knocked out, but he's been taking a lot of damage, and he's 37, so he could definitely knock him out. I am going towards sub here on Kevin Vallejos. I think he's shown enough grappling for me on some of these regional tape that this guy can grapple. He can go take your back and get those submissions. And I think he's going to be stronger, honestly, than Giga, you know, just physically stronger. Vallejos sub is plus 1,200, but round 3, Tim, round 3 is plus 1,000. I think he can break him. I honestly think he can break him because Giga slows down quite a bit. And Vallejos has a very good gas tank, man. And is probably on, I don't know, good vitamins, I would say. Some very good vitamins. What do you like here, Tim?
Yeah, man. Can I interest you in plus 5,500 for sub 3? Because that's a nice one as well.
That's kind of where I'm talking about. I mean, 1,200.
You're on the sub. You're on the sub at plus 1,200. Yeah, I like the round. I like the sub as well. I had sub plus 1,200. I had round 2, round 3, and then I had sub 2, sub 3. I just think that those are the late round props. Cooking him with grappling and getting a sub is kind of the way I would see it. I do think that, like, durability wise, I think it's not easy to KO Chikadze. I think Vallejos only has one round 3 finish, and it was a sub. I don't know. I just think that matchup wise in this fight, I feel like Chikadze is allergic to guys pressuring him, and like really, really going hard at him. The Calvin Kattar fight is a great example of that. Now, I do think that the size and the length in Kattar is different than Vallejos, but I think the walk you down, go straight at you striking style of both of them is actually very similar. Yeah, Vallejos is not afraid of anybody, dude. He went straight into Gene Silva and was not afraid of getting hit by him. Like he's not going to be afraid of the boxing of Giga. He's going to need to worry about the liver kick and the kicks coming from him. But yeah, it's tough to kick a dude who's just so close to you. And in order for Vallejos at his size and the disadvantage that he has, this dude's been smaller than most of the guys that he's fighting. He knows how to fight guys that are bigger than him, and he just goes straight at him. So yeah, I like the late rounds and the especially the sub though. I think that the sub could happen in any round. And 12-1, I was like, damn, that's pretty good. I'll take 12-1 anytime on versus Giga. So yeah, I like the same props.
All right. Let me post this really quick. My Rumble guys, please go over to that channel, my Rumble channel. At least follow me there. I need to pump up the followers on Rumble if you guys don't mind. I'm just trying to grow my different platform here. Appreciate everybody. 634 live viewers. Please, some of you, go over to Rumble. Follow me there. I would really appreciate it. Like the video. Subscribe to the video. Do all of that in here as well if you don't mind. We're just going to keep on trying to give this show out every week. I know people like it. I love doing it for the people, and it's just fun. And it's fun. At the end of the day, it's a good thing to do on Fridays. So I love doing that. Also, I do have a special promo for my Discord and my plays down below. It's $10 for the next month. So for 1 month, we're going to have Jake Paul next week against Anthony Joshua. It's going to be fun. We're going to be live betting that one in the Discord while we watch it. And yeah, there's going to be a bunch of regional stuff. I have a bunch of bets on PFL. So yeah, get in there, guys. $10. Come on. Get the hell in there. Let's win some money together like everybody else. Last week, we hit the draw live at plus 5,000, which was insane. I don't know how they were leaving that up, but they did. And let's see, I have a couple of announcements, actually. There's links down below for Bet 105, Bet Online. If you don't have them, use them. You need them. Believe me, always line shop. When you're betting, if you are the worst bettor in the world and you line shop, you will be in the middle of the pack at minimum. So line shop. That's very important if you want to be successful. Also, I am going to be making a tweet. Maybe it's too late today. I might make it tomorrow morning. But it's going to be a tweet basically of me giving back to, parents or family in need or single parents that have kids that can't get what they want for Christmas. So I will be dropping that on Twitter, on X. And then I'm going to be asking people to just comment. They need to be following me, of course. Just comment with a Amazon wish list for their kids or kid. Don't make it anything crazy that, I'm going to try to buy as many gifts as I can on that Amazon list for the kids, but it can't be like, a Nintendo Switch or some $300-$400 stuff. I'm trying to keep it under, so I could buy as many kids as possible. The gifts have to be like under $50 for the most part. And then I could just buy a lot of kids different gifts and as much as I can. I just want to give back. And so I'm going to be doing that on Twitter. So if you know any families in need, once I post that on Twitter or X, you can send them that way and they can put their kids' Amazon wish list, and I'll try to get as much as I can. I want to give back. I've had a great year. Just something to give back to kids, man. I love kids and I have 3 of them myself. I can get my kids whatever they want, but some parents can't, man. And they don't, and it kills them. it kills them not to, be able to provide these gifts for their kids. So I've had people reach out to me about not having enough for their kids and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, send me a Amazon wish list and I'll try to get as many as I can for your kid. And I want to just do this a little bit more open on X. Hopefully there's not some people that come in there and do that shady shit. Hopefully they're all going to be, I don't want a day old account sending me an Amazon wish list with all these things. So anyways, I'm going to be doing that. So if you guys know anybody, there's a lot of viewers here. So if you know anybody with a family, a kid, they're in need, they can't get the gift. They have a couple of gifts that they want. I will be posting that, making that post tomorrow, and then you guys can send them that way. All right. That's it. That's all I had to say. I do want to give back. That's all for now, Tim. And then we will move on to the main event of the night. And it is in the flyweight division. It is Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. Brandon Royval, 33 years old, 5'9", 68-inch reach with a 17-8 record versus Manel Kape, 32, 5'5", 68-inch reach and a 21-7 record. Really quick, something that sticks out here is the 4-inch height advantage. But if you look, they have the same exact reach advantage, Tim, or reach, 68-inch reach on both guys. Manel Kape, just bad luck after bad luck with this guy. The foot injury, the this, the that, Mokaev fight, he messes up his toe in the first round. And this guy has more pullouts than fights. It's quite astounding the amount of pullouts this guy has. It is absolutely insane. Whether it be him or his opponent, it's always something with this guy. It's either him or is his opponent pulling out. And it's like every single year there's one or two of these with this guy. And, now I feel like he knows, Tim, this is probably his last opportunity. You lose here and you're probably just going all the way back down, because he hasn't done himself any favors by missing all these fights or fighters pulling out and stuff like that. So UFC is giving him a main event slot versus a former contender, right, in Brandon Royval. You need to win here, and you need to win impressively, in my opinion. Kape is going to have a big speed advantage here, in my opinion. Very big striking advantage. I mean, he's going to be countering the shit out of Brandon Royval. If you think, Joshua Van landed good shot, I mean, wait till you see the counters from Manel Kape. Manel Kape is way faster, way sharper than Joshua Van is a brawler. I mean, he wants to get there in the pocket and just exchange. Manel Kape is sniping you, man. Like, he is absolutely in and out fast, sniping. You pressure him, you're just going to run into punches. He's a very, very good striker. The way I could see, Brandon Royval making this fight close is making it dirty, pushing a crazy pace, just not giving Manel Kape any space, just clinching him, doing whatever he needs to do to make this fight dirty. If he's fighting this as a clean fight, he's going to get murdered. I'm telling you right now, he cannot fight clean against Manel Kape because Kape is a better wrestler. Kape's a better striker. He's faster. He's quicker, better footwork. You name it, he's better, right? His cardio looks great to me. Like, I've seen him in 3-round fights. He's looked really good in 3 rounds. I've seen him before in 5-round fights. He's looked good. He's got power. He's got wrestling. He's the better wrestler of these two guys. He's probably the better, honestly, grappler overall. Even jiu-jitsu, maybe. He's better, Royval's just a spaz when it comes to jiu-jitsu. So it's one of those fights where I know Manel is probably going to win this fight a huge part of the time. Like, is he going to knock out Brandon Royval? It's possible. It's possible because Royval's been getting a lot of punishment lately, and Kape hits hard. He's a good sniper. But the issue is that the KO line just sucks. I can't, look at this KO. It's plus 140. I can't play that. You know what I'm saying? I can't play KO at plus 140 against a guy like Royval. He's super tough, super durable. We saw Joshua Van absolutely land everything on this guy until the end, and finally he hurt him, at the very end. So it's still hard to play KO at that type of price against Brandon Royval. But I mean, if I think this fight, could potentially go, and Brandon Royval does make it a dogfight, let's say he makes it a fucking dogfight, right? And it's a crazy dogfight. I think it could be close if it hits the scorecards, So I'm going to go with split just based on price at plus 700. I mean, it's plus 700 to end in split. If it becomes like a Felipe Dos Santos fight, I don't know if you remember that, but Felipe Dos Santos was a dogfight. And, Royval, that was a 3-round fight. If that's 5 rounds and it's Royval, it might get really sketchy and close, So I'm going to go with split at plus 700, but I truly think that Kape wins here. Whether he finishes or not, that's the question. I don't know. So I'm just going to go split just based on price. But at the end of the day, I like Manel Kape here quite a bit. I think he should style on Brandon Royval. Tim?
Yeah, it's a tough stylistic matchup for Royval because he wants chaos, and that's what Manel wants. Like, he wants a guy that's going to come at him. Like, the times that Manel is really dangerous, the times that he's actually not that he's dangerous, the time that he's beatable is when he's fighting guys that counter his countering, and they do nothing, and they just stare at it, and he doesn't do enough, and then it makes it a close fight. The only time where that wasn't the case, I think, was the fight that you were just talking about with Dos Santos. Like, it's just really, that's the only time where and that fight, I mean, honestly, if you're on the Royval side, I mean, that fight should give you hope, because I think that he can do everything that Dos Santos did as well or better in that fight, and he can create chaos. But he just, for Royval, I just don't think that he knows what countering is really. Like, I think he knows what it is, but he just can't do it himself physically. And he's just go forward and create chaos and fight in a, half rabies mode pretty much all the time, and be kind of, like you said, kind of be spastic with what he does and create chaos and be able to roll with what happens and figure out and make quick decisions with that. So I think that's going to be really tough against Kape. But yeah, I mean, for me, I did round 3, 4, 5 with Kape, 9-1, 10-1, 13-1. And then I think if you're on Royval, I think Royval split at plus 1,400 isn't bad. I think that his winning condition is him winning a close decision, split kind of fight. So like you said, man, end split at plus 700. If you feel like this fight goes, is like, yeah, I mean, I think it's Royval's going to probably land on him a little bit, but it's probably the bigger shots that are going to be coming from Kape. Yeah, I'd take 3, 4, 5 as the pick for me for Manel. I think eventually he gets him out and connects on him.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those where he's definitely going to land on. I mean, Royval walks in with his head first, and he's had the concussion issues. He just came off of fucking crazy war.
Yeah, I forgot. That's a great point too. Yeah.
I mean, crazy war, concussion issues, like really bad concussion issues. And you're facing a sniper. I mean, this guy's going to counter the shit out of you, So, all right, Tim, Lambo parlay time, the last one for 2025. And my God, I am going out with a big, big bang here, Tim. So it's kind of deja vu. I want to say this before I even start. So the deja vu comes from when I was in Vegas for the Narco Bash, we called it, October 18th. Melissa Croden fought on that card, and she finished in round 3 in the first fight of the night, Tim. And listen to this. This gets even better. In the third fight of the night, it was another female fight, and Stephanie Luciano finished in round 3. Do you know what the close things with that card and this card is? Right? Fight 1 in this card is Jamie Lynn Horth against Teresa Bleda. So, and fight number 3 is Luana Santos versus Melissa Croden. So it's 2 female fights. I like both of these girls to finish in rounds 2 and 3. So these odds on these fights here, 2 and 3, Tim, 363 to 1. That's the lowest one, by the way. It's 503 to 1, 519 to 1, and 719 to 1, Tim. So I'm going off with a bang here. I see a couple of little, little similarities between the first and 3 fights and both of these cards, and the other one, both of them were round 3 finishes. Huge numbers. I'm gonna take my shot here on girls with better cardio and have a lot of finishes late. The other one I have is a different one. It's a decisionator. I'm gonna go with Robertson decision, Charriere decision, and Cesare Oleksiejczuk by decision, 77 to 1. All right, Tim. What do you got for us?
I'm close to your last one. I got 2 out of 3 of those. I had Morgan by decision, Oleg by decision, Amosov sub 55 to 1, and then I switched Amosov points, and it's 54 to 1.
Yeah, that is definitely close. Oleg decision, Morgan decision, and Amosov sub decision. Yeah, I mean that is kind of close, except Amosov probably gets it done too. So, yeah, great last show. 674 live viewers. Love you, all of you. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for stopping by again. Please hit the like, subscribe, leave comments, do whatever you need to do. Pump up this channel, pump up my Rumble channel. Again, get in the Discord. $10. I left the link down below if you want. We're printing, man. We're killing live betting, especially in boxing, man. You guys just, if there's anything, you don't play anything, follow the boxing live and you will make a shit ton of money. I promise you. We have a ton of live boxing we do, and it's been printing money this whole year. What else do I have? That's it. Just the X post tomorrow. Make sure if you know somebody in need, make sure you go in there, let them know about it. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much for the support this year in 2025. Next year, I will be doing more of the recorded stuff. I'm going to be doing a couple of recorded stuff, including the Lambo show, of course, live. But I'm going to do some recording, stuff like that. So, again, thank you very, very much to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. And let's cash those tickets for UFC Vegas 112.